What is happening, wonderful people? So I just got done watching The Wrecking Crew, and in this film, estranged half-brothers Johnny and James reunite after their father's mysterious death. As they search for the truth, buried secrets reveal a conspiracy threatening to tear their family apart. And that's all I can say without giving too much away. Let's talk about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
So The Wrecking Crew. When it comes to The Wrecking Crew, this is a movie this year that I really had no expectations for. I know it's getting great reviews right now. It has an 81 on Rotten Tomatoes right now. And I watched the trailer and I just didn't have any big expectations for it. I really didn't. And when I watched the trailer, I saw major red flags all written all over it. I was like, yep, I've definitely seen this movie before. I have absolutely seen this before. It just looked like your typical cliche, tropey action film that you've seen a million times before. And I like Jason Momoa and I like Dave Bautista. I really do. And you would think with both of them as a pair in this movie, their chemistry, their acting chemistry, they would be a fun pair because, again, I like Jason Momoa. Again, I like Dave Bautista. I really do. I think they're both fun actors and they're the, two of the main actors you can put in these action movies, and it probably won't be great, but you'll at least have some fun with it, right? And I didn't realize until today the director of this film, Angel Manuel Soda, he's the one who directed Blue Beetle. This is only his second film, The Wrecking Crew, so he doesn't have very many movies under his belt. So I was looking forward to Blue Beetle, but I ended up being kind of disappointed with that film. Not horrible, just kind of lackluster in my opinion. So I was kind of nervous about this one. But again, you have Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista, and like I said earlier, you would think that with them two being together, their acting chemistry and how fun they both are, their banter back and forth, that it would be a lot of fun. But after having seen the film, it's okay. It's fine. So if you're new to my channel, or if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I like to talk about my positives first, then my negatives next. But even when I need to be negative, I will be positive. And even when I need to be positive, I will be negative as well. And overall, I thought the movie was fine. It's your typical action, tropey, action cliche film that you've seen dozens of times. You know exactly how the movie's going to start. You know how it's going to end. You know who the main villain is. You know the tropes between these two brothers that absolutely do not like each other. But then at the end, they overcome their differences and they make up. But even though I found the movie to just be kind of lackluster, and even though I found it to be just okay, there are some things I really did like about it. So I really think Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista are both great in here. I love Dave Bautista and everything he's in, whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy, whether it's just anything he's in. And Jason Momoa, I love Jason Momoa, I do. But he is starting to kind of feel like The Rock. He is starting to feel like The Rock. He is kind of playing the same character over and over and over in every movie he's in. And that's kind of one of the issues I have in here. But I still think Jason Momoa is fun. I still think he's a great actor. He's really fun with what he's given. And in here, he's very chaotic. He's very all over the place. And he is kind of a jerk in here. He really is towards the beginning. But when it gets to the very end, like I said earlier, Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista kind of make up because, like I said, they're brothers who absolutely hate each other in here. They hate each other's guts. They are so rude to each other, but they kind of make up towards the end. They really do. And that was kind of a cool thing to see, even though you kind of see it coming, you know what I mean? Because you've seen this type of movie before. But, it is surprisingly, it is a great looking film. It is a really good looking film, and I really like the overall aesthetic and vibe in here. And, I always love the movies that take place in Hawaii, and this movie does take place in Hawaii, and I love when movies do take place in Hawaii. It's kind of like the really nice, color grading is directed well, the nice, Hawaiian aesthetic, right? I absolutely love that in any movie that takes place in Hawaii, if that makes sense. And this movie has that great Hawaiian aesthetic and that great Hawaiian atmosphere in here, and I absolutely love that. I love that in here. It kind of elevated the vibe. It had a good vibe, elevated the movie to some degree, and it had a good vibe, I thought. And I even think the humor is good in here as well. Not all of it lands. Some of it does fall flat, but I think there are some jokes in here, some kind of one-liners, if you want to call it that I actually kind of found funny. There's a moment where Jason Momoa towards the beginning kind of calls Jacob Batalon some like Asian Jackie Chan, and I thought that was funny. And there are some really great needle drops in here when the movie opens. In the last like few seconds of the movie, there's a really great song. So I think the soundtrack in here kind of elevated the movie to a certain degree as well. I thought the soundtrack was a lot of fun. There's a lot of songs that you'll know by heart in here, and they're just fun. It kind of elevated the movie again to some degree, and there are some really great action scenes in here, like really great action scenes. And with the action scenes, it's actually directed well. It's not shaky cam. You can actually make out what's going on, and it's very brutal and intense and visceral, and it's just fun to watch. I thought the action scenes were choreographed well, and Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa are both beasts and forces of nature, and they just are taking all these guys out left and right and just in any way imaginable. I'm just like, oh, that is disgusting. That's crazy. And it's just, it is cool to see Morena Baccarin from the Deadpool films in here. She doesn't have a big part in here, but she kind of has a significant role, so it's really cool to see her in here. Jacob Batalon does have a significant role, like a big role, and it was cool to see him in here as well. And Tamora Morrison, who plays Jango Fett in Boba Fett, it was cool to see him in here. Again, he has a semi-big role, but it was really cool to see him in here. And for a straight-to-streaming movie, I thought it could have been worse. But at the same time, moving on to my negatives, while I like Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista, while I think, they're fun in their own merit, both in here, right, individually and equally, you don't feel their acting chemistry at all. Like, I really didn't feel their chemistry in the movie. I didn't feel their acting chemistry. And even when you watch the trailer, and even when you're like, yeah, this looks like a movie I've seen a million times before, you would sit there and be like, you would think, hey, maybe their chemistry would be good though. I didn't really feel their chemistry. And towards the end, you kind of feel their relationship growing stronger, and you kind of understand that they're kind of making up now, even though at the beginning and towards like the second act of the film, they kind of hate each other's guts. But it's their chemistry, their acting chemistry is really non-existent. And, while some of the humor does land, for the most part, it kind of falls flat. Like, there's a lot of jokes that Jason Momoa makes at the beginning of the film that just had me sitting there like, I didn't find that funny. I didn't even really smirk at that. I didn't find that funny at all.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! Move this man!
And you've seen this story a million times before, and you really don't care about the journey that all these characters go on, and you really don't care about their relationship. You really don't. And the pacing is super slow as well, and I kept looking at how much time was left on this film, and when when you're doing that, it's not a very good film. And it's just the mystery aspect in this movie, because the whole premise of this movie, the whole plot is their dad was murdered, and they're trying to, Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista, their brothers, their dad was murdered, and they're trying to figure out who did it, and at times you're like, oh, it could be that person. At times you're like, oh, it might be that person. But the mystery aspect isn't as interesting as it should be, and you really just don't feel invested into what is going on, and you don't care about what is going on as well. And it's not horrible, but it's definitely one that I'll never watch again. It's a one-time watch in my opinion, and you know exactly where it's going. And the tone is a mess as well, mainly towards the beginning of the film, because Jason Momoa, his wife, is Morena Baccarin in here, and when we're introduced to Morena in here, she pulls up and she's basically telling Jason Momoa she wants a divorce, but he's taking it as a joke. And the way he's like, his character's written in that moment, the way his character's acted in that moment, you're like, he's not taking anything serious. Like, I don't understand why he's delivering the lines like that. It's just very awkward, and the tone just felt very messy and just kind of all over the place. And I would have liked more action than we got. The action we did get was really good, but I was hoping for more action, more action than we got, because it is an action film, and the story just doesn't know where it wants to go. It tries to be poignant at times as well, and it tries to hit you with all of these emotional moments and beats, but they just don't land. They fall flat, and it feels very run-of-the-mill and very cookie cutter as well. So yeah, overall with The Wrecking Crew, this is another film this year that I really had no expectations for, but I am an action film fan and I do like Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa. And even though the trailer didn't work for me, I was hoping that I would like it, because I want to like every movie I see. But with The Wrecking Crew, I will give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars. And with The Wrecking Crew, I will say choose your time wisely. If you are an action film fan, if you're a fan of Jason Momoa, if you're a fan of Dave Bautista, and if you're one of the people who saw the reviews and saw that it had an 81 on Rotten Tomatoes and you're kind of looking forward to this, I would say maybe you'll enjoy it. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share in this video. We just hit 1K subs a while back. We're now 1.2K. And the next big milestone is 2K and 3K after that. Beyond that as well. If you're new as well, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, movie news, movie rankings, all that wonderful movie stuff under the movie umbrella. And let's talk about it in the comments down below. Did you like this movie? Did y'all not like this movie? Are y'all going to watch this movie? Or y'all going to skip it? Let's talk about it down below. Keep talking movies, wonderful people. Cheers.